What's happening, folks? How we doing tonight? Um, we kind of got a show put together here real quick. Rich said he's feeling better, so let's go. Last time me and Rich went was Eagles game.
Something like that. Yeah, it's been a month, I think. Maybe a little long. No, it's been longer than that. It's probably been about 5, 6 weeks.
Has it? Well, I mean, it's been 5, 6 weeks. It was
Yeah.
right around. I think it was the Eagles game, and then you were in the hospital for that Tuesday show of, and everyone loved it. Everyone's like, is Rich in a hospital bed? What's going on here?"
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was.
So you're at the end of your medicine, and you feel you're getting better, but you're not. You're about what, 80, 60, 70%?
I'd say 75, 80. Yeah. I appreciate it, Josh. But yeah, it's definitely something, man. You can literally feel the antibiotics attacking what's messing with your body.
That's
And
crazy.
thank God for the medicine they gave me that neutralized the nausea, because that was even worse. What was behind the nausea was even worse. So yeah, it was brutal. Publicly to the world and everybody, my wife. I mean, I just scooped a whole ton more stuff right on her, and she's, I don't deserve what I got. Let's put it that way.
She's a trooper. That
Um,
what you're saying?
Man, I'm telling you, she's taking care of everything. My mom's in the hospital right now. You know where my
For what?
wife's at?
For what
You know where
now?
my wife's at?
The hospital.
Yeah. Um she got sick with a stomach issue. Got ultra dehydrated and didn't eat or anything for a couple of days, and things just kind of went. When my daughter went over to check on her, we called the ambulance, and she's doing a lot better now.
I got the
She went
IV in her,
in.
and
Yeah, she went in Wednesday, had a really low temperature. Her blood pressure was out of whack and that kind of stuff. She's good now as far as that goes. But guess what she's got? She's got a sepsis too. I've come to find out there's a lot of different flavors of sepsis. So she's taking antibiotics and taking fluids and all that kind of good stuff. I don't know if she's got the same antibiotics I had going through me when I was in the hospital, but um, all that to say, you know, so, and again, my wife is taking care of everything. So, I'm able to do very, very little, but hopefully in the next day or two, all this stuff will get out of my system and I'll actually feel like really helping her out. So,
you are her a big date night.
yeah, I mean, our 10th anniversary is at the end of March. So yeah, I mean, and then of course Valentine's Day is right around the corner. So between those two, yeah, definitely.
Nice, nice. Did you get any news on what you talked about earlier with me?
Yes, Monday 2 o'clock.
Hey, 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
Josh, if you can sneak out of school, not saying you should, but really good racing guest coming on Monday at 2 o'clock. Josh, our time or your time?
My time, two
So
o'clock
it's not.
Central.
So it's 3 o'clock our time.
Three your time. Yeah.
So 3 o'clock, Josh. Tune into this channel.
Yeah. We it'll be
Oh,
it'll be a pretty
should we tell?
cool.
Should we tell them who, buddy?
Well, I mean, are we recording it and then we're going to launch the show that night or what? Because what I was thinking was to start the show, we'll start running the show on Monday nights. Um, 7 o'clock on Monday, 6 or 7 o'clock on Monday nights Eastern.
Right.
Um, so for those of you, we can give you this much. I'm going to be starting a show called Two Tire Stop. It's going to be a NASCAR show that's going to start next week. Believe it or not, we're 3 weeks from the Daytona 500, and I got a really cool guest
There,
that's
you
going to be
you
coming
you
on.
have a really interested guest right now, buddy.
The funny part is the answer to that question is no. Um, which should really have him bouncing off the wall. But yeah, it's gonna
Oh,
be.
my nephew has joined us too. So if we get
Oh,
awkward
very good.
comments, it's because they're fighting. No, I'm kidding.
Ah, I got you. Well, I mean, I'm noticing we're up to 15, and we just kind of did this as an impromptu deal, so we appreciate
Right.
everybody. But yeah,
Dylan,
we're
how
going to
are
be
you?
launching the show, preview the NASCAR season, the next 2 weeks, and then, man, I mean, Daytona 500 is the week after the Super Bowl, so Daytona
You have another
24. Yeah,
question.
I'll watch some of it. Obviously, I'm not going to watch the whole thing. But yeah, I'll watch a chunk of it. It's the Rolex 24. I'm okay with it. I don't get. I'm not a big F1 guy, which there's going to be a major influx of F1 guys. There are going to be some NASCAR guys in this thing. I know Kyle Larson's running in it. I know Jimmy Johnson's running in it. He's running it for many years. I think Jeff Gordon's running in it.
Really? Coming out.
Yeah, my guy. So I from what I get, if I remember correctly, Kevin Harvick may be running in this thing. There's a lot of the guys that do that kind of stuff. I kind of most of my stuff is more along the lines of from ARCA up. So IMSA, okay. But most of my stuff is ARCA up. So get me ARCA, get me Xfinity, get me trucks, get me, that kind of stuff. And it's mainly because there's so many aspects to the racing. I mean, you got, of course, F1, and you got IndyCar, and you got IMSA, and you got midgets, and you got all this there in World of Outlaws and all this other stuff. Um, there's really too much to keep track of all of it. So I do my absolute best to keep up with from ARCA up, and then it kind of goes from there. I got you. All right. I've got a really good friend of mine, and watch the pronoun on this. I got a really good friend of mine, and she is a huge F1 fan. She has followed F1 since she was in high school.
If his mom lets him
And
jump
I
on the
know
show, Rich, if his mom lets him jump on the show and he's out of school, would you let him jump
yeah,
in?
I would imagine I could. Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with that. Get
There
an
you go,
extra
Josh.
question from the
There's your.
peanut gallery.
He was
Get an,
looking to do a show on F1 anyway.
well, I mean, I don't
And
know how much my guy knows about F1, but
racing
I do
anyway.
know. I know my guy knows NASCAR forwards and backwards. I've known him 20 plus years, and
You know the name once you hear it.
you should. Yeah, you really should. He's been a major part of what NASCAR is doing for the last. Well, what Texas Motor Speedway did for about 10 years, and then for what NASCAR has been doing for another 10. Yeah, I've seen lots of different things like that with, female race engineers, and they're supposed to be, if I remember correctly, and I isn't there supposed to be a female crew chief at one of the levels this year? I seem to remember reading something. I don't remember it might be at ARCA that there's a female crew chief that's going to be the first female crew chief that'll be running a pit crew. I think it's fantastic. I mean, I'm one of those guys I don't care if it's sports or whatever. If you're good enough to do it, do it.
Did you ever see Danica Patrick on the Joe Rogan show?
I don't think I have, but I've met Danica Patrick.
She goes, I don't know a damn thing about cars. I just know they drive fast.
Yeah. I mean, she could drive the heck out of a car, man. A lot of these guys, I mean, you get a perfect example I'll give you is William Byron, who drives a 24 car for Rick Hendrick. William Byron is a video game guy. That's how he got his ability to drive those cars, is by simulating in video games.
Well, Dale Earnhardt Jr., I remember NASCAR took it to his house whenever EA Sports first came out with it, and he said they were about 0.3 of the grade off.
Yep. Oh yeah,
And
I
I
mean
thought,
it's real close. It is super close. And Dale Jr. is part of the team that works with EA Sports on that to put the game together and all the logistics and all that kind of stuff. They've got a bunch NASCAR. The NASCAR team in general, the NASCAR organization was a little iffy when this stuff first started coming out. That they were saying it was just like being in the car until it got to the point that it was just like being in the car. And they EA, I mean, everybody knows what EA has done with Madden and with their baseball and that kind of stuff, and with their WWE games and how
I
realistic
think,
those are.
I
They've
feel
done the
it all
same thing with
comes
NASCAR.
back. I feel it all comes back to that correct driving wheel and the right clutch. I mean, you can buy these things. I mean, it's like a $500 set, but I mean, you get the clutch, you get the pedals, you get the shift,
Yeah.
and I think
I'm
that
not a
puts
bit,
you best in the car.
yeah, I'm not a big gamer. To be perfectly honest, the last game I played consistently was Madden on PS1.
Oh
If
my
that tells
gosh,
you
that
anything,
was
like 96, 95, somewhere in there.
yeah. Jet
Yeah.
Moto was my favorite game on PlayStation 1. Jet
Um,
Moto was the first game that had uh jet skis go off the water and go crazy. That was my
well, and
favorite
see,
game on the PS1.
90% of the stuff I played was sports. Um, there was a couple that I played that weren't. I don't know if you remember Toe Jam and Earl. Um,
I remember the name, but I never played the game.
I played that. I played Zelda. I was never really, I was never really
Okay,
into
well,
all that
I
extra stuff.
3 o'clock, Josh, on Monday. 3 o'clock.
That'll be when I'm doing the interview. Yes, that's when I'll be
Oh,
recording the interview. So, um, what do you think? Launch the show at you want to do 6 or 7 Eastern? I mean,
maybe we'll
what do you
give him
think's going to work out best?
maybe we'll get him the invite, Rich, and he can sit backstage and watch.
We can do that.
Josh, are you
You can
gonna be
show me
home
how to
by
do
3? I know this
it.
is a horrible time to do an interview over the phone, but Josh, you gonna be out of school by 3?
Yeah, we'll wait for his response. But
Um,
yeah, I mean, it's going to be fun.
he'll be on the bus with no service. What
We're gonna
time?
we're
What
gonna be
time do you
talking
get through?
for
What time do you
we're
get
gonna be
home,
talking
Josh?
for about an hour. So it's going to go for about an hour.
Um, Rich, we should probably get back to where we left off.
Yeah, yeah,
What were your
definitely. But yeah,
thoughts?
folks,
So,
we'll
Josh,
start
we'll
that
talk,
NASCAR
buddy.
show.
We'll
Just to
talk.
summarize for everybody, 2 tire change starts Monday evening. Let's say 7 p. Just for argument's sake, 7 p. Eastern, 6 p. Central, right here.
Gotcha.
Anyway,
All right, Josh. Then, Josh, we'll get you the link so you can sit backstage. Maybe even you'll get to say hi
there you go.
afterwards or something. Anyway, Rich, we
Yes.
have some Steeler talk. I'm sure we have some baseball talk with pitchers and catchers reporting right around the bend.
Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame, definitely. Ichiro getting in. Billy Wagner getting in.
Yeah.
I know you were gonna. I knew you were gonna shake your head on that one.
How is he in and Andrew Jones isn't? That's all I can tell you.
Might have the
I
cancer
don't.
hurt him.
Andrew
Might have getting.
Jones?
Yeah, didn't he get sick and miss it? Oh, that was Andres Galarraga. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, I mean Andrew Jones is arguably. Well, no. Let me
I don't
put it
know
this way.
anything about.
There's
I don't
no
know anything
arguably
about.
to this.
I don't know
Andrew
anything about
Jones
that
is
one. Do
a
you?
top. He's a top 10 all time defensive center fielder. He played Let's see. He
Oh, believe me,
played
we know he played for the Braves, and we know.
17 seasons. He played for the Braves, and then he played for the Dodgers, the Rangers, the White Sox, and the Yankees.
But his most
Um,
memorable moments are with the Braves, early
sure.
90s.
434 homers, 1,933 hits, 150 stolen bases. He had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 consecutive gold gloves in center field. Um,
That was all with the Braves, I recall, right?
every one of them was with the Braves, yeah, because that's right when he started to get his injuries adding up. And I mean, if his injuries wouldn't have gotten to him, he'd have hit 500 home runs, no question.
Maybe
Um,
that's. I mean, we're
yeah,
not going to
they,
debate. We're
I
not going to debate Ichiro. Ichiro is guaranteed.
no. What I want to debate is who the one person is that didn't vote him in. Who is that knucklehead? One person. He was one from unanimous. How? How?
I don't know if they don't show that, do they?
No. Well, it's there somewhere. I don't know exactly where to find it, but I mean, I still can't figure out how Mariano Rivera was the first unanimous selection. I mean, last I looked, hello, Babe Ruth. Who
Uh,
wouldn't
I'm
vote Babe
finding some
Ruth
of
into
this
the Hall
footage.
of Fame?
I'm finding some of this footage on Babe Ruth, and his swing is atrocious. I shared something
Who
on
doesn't
Facebook
vote
today
Babe?
about it.
Who? Mickey Mantle, Ted Williams. Who doesn't vote these guys in unanimously? I mean, how in the world does that happen?
Maybe
I
it was a
just don't get
Pittsburgh
it.
guy. Maybe it was a Pittsburgh guy.
Mm,
All
I don't
those
know.
years against Billy Wagner, the Astros. I don't
Um,
know. I don't
I
know.
mean,
I don't know.
Stacey Sabathia getting in.
Now, if we had Brandon on the show, he would say his best year came with that trade to Milwaukee from that end of the season, from that
Well,
middle of the season, was probably the top of his career.
well, it was. I mean, he was 27. He went 11-2. Struck out God and everybody during that time frame. He threw 7 complete games, and yeah, he had 128 strikeouts in 13 games.
This is
I'm
all
not
after the trade.
denying. Yeah, I'm not denying that. What I am looking at is he was an all-star, 6-time all-star. Yeah, he was top 5 in the Cy Young 5 times. Um, I don't see. To me, Sabathia is Hall of Very Good, but I can certainly understand where people would say he's Hall of Fame worthy. So he's not one that I'm going to stand and beat my chest and say he shouldn't be in, i.e., Harold Baines. But I don't know that I would have voted him. But I can certainly understand people's argument. The Skeens card deal, you saw that the kid turned down the Pirates offer.
I don't know anything about this Skeets card. Is this the thing for like season tickets behind home plate or something?
Right. Um, Panini, you know those patches that every rookie wore that had MLB debut on their jersey the first game?
Yeah.
Okay. What they did was they took those patches off of the jerseys after the game and made them into one of one relic cards that were
Okay.
autographed by the person that wore them. So Jackson Churio has one, Wyatt Langford, all these other guys, right? And Jackson Churio's actually just sold for 110K. But the Paul Skeens one, as crazy as Skeens, you know, Skeens-a-mania or whatever you want to call it. And let me get the offer
Wasn't
pulled up.
didn't even live come up and say, "Hey, you find this card, you can sit in my booth with me or something."
Yep. Here is what was offered by the Pittsburgh Pirates for the card. Okay. Hold on. It was
They're probably snowed in, Josh.
okay. Here we go.
Josh, here's
Two
your mic.
Pirates season tickets. Two Pirates season tickets behind home plate for the next 30 years. A meet and greet with
What?
Skeens. Yes, meet and greet with Skeens. Two Paul Skeens autographed jerseys. A softball game for 30 of his friends at PNC with coaching from the Pirates. A private tour of the stadium. And there was one other thing. Hold on.
So it would live for a game or something, right?
No, a private tour of Lecom Park and Pirate City at spring training. And then Livy Dunn added to it that she would give the ability to watch a game with her and her friends in her suite.
And this kid turned it
And
all
the kid
this.
turned it down. The story behind the story that I've heard.
Hey,
The
Rich,
story that I've heard.
Hey, Rich, I just
What's
wanted
up,
to
man?
make sure everything was okay with you. I'm glad you're doing much, much better, boss.
I appreciate it, bud. I do. You doing all right down there? You didn't get any snow.
No, we never get snow this fall south, but glad we got a new head coach.
Yeah.
By the way, Dallas Cowboys are likely going to hire Brian Schottenheimer as head coach. Holy crap!
More ammunition for the big guy to use against the Cowboys.
By the way, if I'm a betting man, I bet Cowboys finish last place again in 2025. Cowboys go like 4-0.
It's very possible. It is very possible.
I'm not saying
But
it. I'm not saying it, but I haven't seen the schedule yet, and I'm not making any future predictions. We're still in this year.
I mean, all I got to do is look at, okay, Washington's not going backwards. Philly's not going backwards. And the Giants were progressing. And if they get themselves a quarterback in the draft, they're going to progress. It's super tough to not see the Cowboys go. There you go, John Cena.
Cowboys play the AFC West, NFC North. Then they have Carolina. Who's the other one? I'm trying to think. Who's the other out of conference game they have in 20? And the Jets.
Yeah. I mean, as we sit here right this second, I mean, I see the Cowboys. Goodness.
I'm not making any predictions.
Well, I mean, the biggest thing I would look at is who do you see going forward and going backward, even just at this point, okay? You look at who they play at home. The Packers are not going backwards. The Chiefs, even if they went backwards, ain't going to matter. The Chargers are not going backwards. Minnesota, I don't know. Depends what they do with quarterback.
Detroit.
And the Cardinals. So they've got
They play the NFC West, though. They play the
they've got
AFC West.
But I'm just saying the Cowboys versus these teams. 6 of those 8 teams are not regressing. Okay. And they're good to start with. Again, you got the 3 in the division on the road. The Bears are going to be better because they can't get any worse. The Broncos are not regressing. The Lions might regress simply because they lost
all their coaches.
The Raiders hired Pete Carroll today, which I think is a fantastic hire. So I think the Raiders are better, especially if they get themselves a quarterback.
What's wrong with
the
Aiden?
Jets? I don't think Aiden O'Connell is a 17-game playoff get to quarterback. I think he's a solid backup. That's it.
Adam, Aiden O'Connell is not starting for the Vegas Raiders. They're going to draft a quarterback. Pete Carroll did not take this job for a quarterback from Purdue. They're going to end up, you know what, the way this draft's going right now, I mean, it's not a great draft to begin with. I think the Raiders end up with one of those guys, whether it be, I mean, I've got, in my draft, I've got the Raiders taking Shedeur Sanders without having to move up.
Well, and that may be possible. When you look at the Cowboys' schedule, they play probably 5 teams that would be worse than what they are this year, that they were this year. And almost every team on their schedule they play next year was a playoff contender outside of the Bears, the Jets, and the Panthers.
And Giants.
Well, but, I mean, I agree. I think the Cowboys are going to have a terrible time making any kind of progress next year. They're going to have a really rough time.
I'm not making anything. We're not doing schedule predictions yet. I'm not doing anything.
But when I look at this draft order, and you're right, Dylan. I mean, the draft is not exactly spectacular. But if I'm Tennessee, to be perfectly honest, if I'm Tennessee, I almost say, okay, make me offers. And I would find somebody that's desperate enough, maybe even a Jacksonville.
No.
Or a New England.
No.
New England to give up a couple of 1s and a couple of 2s and a starting player to get that number 1 pick.
Why the heck would New England give up Drake May? He's better than anybody in this draft.
I didn't say trade Drake May. I said trade 1s, 2s, starting players.
I think Dylan's saying, why would you trade all the way up for a quarterback?
I'm not trading for a quarterback if I'm New England. How good would Travis Hunter look in New England?
New England's not going to take Travis Hunter. I think New England.
How good would that? Oh, what is that kid's name? That offensive lineman? Oh, come on, Rich.
From Texas or LSU?
No, the kid that they. Oh, come on. Yeah, I think it's the kid from LSU.
Campbell?
Hold on, let me get his name.
Oh my God, Miko Rantanen just got traded to the Carolina Hurricanes.
Will Campbell.
That's big news. There's a 3-way trade. I don't know who else was involved.
Taylor Hall picks Nikas.
No, it's Will Campbell, the guy from LSU. But either him or Abdul Carter.
I think New England,
because Abdul Carter has Micah Parsons written all over him. So, if I was New England and made that, yeah, I mean, it's kind of high to take Abdul Carter. He might be there at the New England pick, but he might not be. But I'm just saying, if Tennessee found somebody that would give up a starting player, give up Levis. Or not Levis, but
I think Chicago just got hosed in this trade.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it's a 3-way blockbuster trade just happened, right? The Hurricanes acquired Rantanen and Chicago Blackhawks left winger Taylor Hall in a deal. Sources said Colorado got back winger Martin Necas and center Jack Drury, as well as a 2025 second-round pick and a 2026 fourth-round pick from Carolina. Chicago acquired its own 2025 third-round pick back and had traded from Carolina previously. Sources said the Blackhawks are retaining half of Rantanen's $9.25 million cap.
Well, Adam, a
contract dump.
Well, Adam, here's probably what happened because everybody's like right up against the cap. Carolina probably couldn't finish, so they asked Colorado. So they probably said Chicago, hey, would you take a third as like a third team, take half the contract? Bingo. Because Randon's a free agent. The Avs couldn't re-sign Mikko Rantanen, so the Colorado ended up dealing now where they could get something.
I get it. I
Definitely
get it.
sounds
That's
like
just
a salary or a contract dump.
took me
By
by.
the way, right now in my mock draft, I have New England taking Mason Graham because Mason Graham's gonna. I think Mason Graham's the best football player in this draft, bar none.
Oh no.
I think
Is he going to be a really good player? Yes. Is he the best player in this draft? No. I don't see it. Let's put it that way. I can probably give you 4 or 5 guys I'd put ahead of him.
the only two guys I would even consider being better football players than Mason Graham are Abdul Carter and the McMillan wide receiver from Arizona.
Right. And you, like it or not, you got to put Travis Hunter up there.
I don't have Travis Hunter as my top rated corner. I've got a Mason Graham's teammate, number 1 corner on my board.
I don't know that he plays corner. I think he is a wide. I think he's Devin Hester. I think he becomes Devin Hester, and to a higher level. I think he returns kicks. I think he's a hell of a receiver, a number 1 receiver. Would I love to see Travis Hunter in black and gold? Definitely.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. You know why? Because we have a coach that elects not to lose.
Well, no, but what I would be definitely open to do come draft day, if I'm our
We're not gonna
beloved
trade up.
Steelers,
We're not going to trade up.
Trade George Pickens.
I was going to say, you watch how fast we could move up if we put Pickens out there.
Someone said we would be lucky.
Guaranteed.
Someone said we'd be lucky to get a third back right now.
Bull. That's crap.
That's what I read yesterday. I don't know where I read it, but
if you
I'm
look
just
at
telling you
who
what
is
I read.
ahead of, well, I'm telling you what I know.
From what we remember about this whole draft, who was the biggest headache in that draft? George Pickens.
Okay, but here's the thing you got to remember, and I'm mainly looking at number 13 right now. Tyreek Hill is about to leave. You don't think you could work a deal to move from 20 whatever it is to 13, 21 to 13, and use Pickens as that bait? I know you could. In San Francisco, Debo or Ayuk, well, Debo is probably gone. Pickens to San Francisco for the 11 all day long. All day long. Because Pickens is still on his rookie deal. They still have control on him for what, 2 years on his rookie deal?
Yeah, I think it's 4 year.
4, okay. Send him to one of those teams where he would be the 2, to be perfectly honest, because in Miami, Waddle would be the 1, Pickens would be the 2. In San Fran, Ayuk would be the 1, Pickens would be the 2. Send him to one of those places where he can see what it's really like to play in the NFL when he's not the number 1 and he's not going to be, hand-fed everything. And then see what happens. And the Steelers move up. Me personally.
What's 11 get us, though? What does 11 get us?
What does 11 get?
I think you both literally just said this draft is very slim.
I think at 11, there's a few different guys we could get. My problem is, okay, you said who could we get? Okay. I like Kelvin Banks out of Texas. I really like the kid. I think he could be a really good opposite bookend on that offensive line. I really like and call it whatever you want, but I am really a big fan. I've watched him play a ton And he was that 2 that I think can be a 1. And I've seen mock drafts with him going to the Steelers anyway, is Emeka Egbuka out of Ohio State. There are guys that the Steelers can get. Are they going to get a quarterback at 11 that's going to be, oh my God, Peyton Manning or whatever? No. The problem is, you know who the best free agent quarterback is out there right now?
Sam Darnold.
Nah, they're both wearing black and gold.
Russell Wilson is not. No.
I'm saying the best free agent quarterbacks that are on
So
the
does
market
Russ
right
reunite
now.
does Russ reunite with Pete in Vegas?
Pete Carroll? Could.
I don't know.
Go ahead. I heard a deal that made complete sense. And Dylan, you're going to lose your mind when you hear this. But I heard a deal that made complete sense. Okay. Russ, you get Russ re-signed. Okay. Russ and Pickens for the Prince.
For who?
Trevor Lawrence.
Please no.
What are you drinking? What are you drinking, Rich? There's no way we're trading.
I heard this on NFL Network.
I heard Garrett Wilson in a 2nd-round pick for Mike Tomlin.
But Tomlin's already said, but there is a no trade clause in Tomlin's contract, believe it or not. And he's already said that that's not going to happen. But he's not going to get traded. But the one thing that I know is if you look at free agent quarterbacks, your list starts with Sam Darnold, Justin Fields, Russell Wilson. The Russell Wilson experiment, I knew this at the beginning, and I told you guys this at the beginning. Russell Wilson wasn't the guy. They should have left Fields in there, quit thinking around, and gone through the season and done.
They said Russell Wilson wasn't the guy all year.
Who was the one that was flipping out whenever they made the switch? Me.
Right.
They should have kept Justin Fields in there. Gone with Lamar late. And just kept on trucking. Russ should have not seen the field unless Justin Fields got hurt.
That wasn't going to happen.
But I'm saying that's what should have happened. You were 4-2 with the guy.
Right, but it wasn't like Tomlin's guy.
Wasn't like you were 1-5.
It wasn't Tomlin's guy.
No.
I
can't see Sam Darnold as any more than a serviceable guy.
My next question would be, how many games do we have in prime time? Because he sucks.
No, but here would be my question, okay? And going to you, Adam. Minnesota was what, 14-3?
Yeah.
Would you have been happier if the Steelers were 14-3 and got knocked out in the first round?
Still would have went one and done.
Huh?
Still would have went one and done. Wouldn't have mattered.
Okay.
And we would have got blown out. And we would have got blown out in bad fashion if you want to look at, say, we're in Minnesota.
No.
I can't help it, Rich. It's an ongoing problem. And everyone keeps blaming these other coaches. It's not their problem. They're not here long enough. The problem is the center guy. I don't care what you do in regular season. Even Rooney came out and said, it's okay to lose so we get a good pick.
Well, but it's also very tough in the NFL to do much if you don't have that quarterback. And let's be honest, in the NFL right this minute, there's maybe 8 of that guy can win me the Super Bowl right now. This guy can win me. Mahomes, of course, Burrow,
right,
Allen.
a good coach to figure out how to do it with any guy.
That's untrue. That is so untrue.
Really?
How good was Bill Belichick before he got loser?
Not good.
Exactly. Bill Belichick made his entire career off of Tom Brady. He was absolute dog shit before Tom Brady came to the Patriots.
And that's all because of a kind of a cheap shot on Drew Bledsoe. The only reason that happened.
Right. Exactly. But still, be that as it is, Tom Brady is an average quarterback at best. But he took a system and ran with it. If Belichick never had Brady, Belichick would never be doing any of the stuff that he's doing right now. No possible way.
This is why I'm confused about the Jets. Why did they sign Aaron Glenn? They need offensive-minded coach. I did not understand this at all. They just lost a great defensive coach in Saleh.
Well, the biggest problem the Jets was firing Saleh because New York's team went from potentially first place to down the toilet. And I mean, Aaron Glenn was drafted by the Jets. That's a great player in the NFL. I mean,
I get it. But they need an offensive-minded coach.
Right, but you guys are missing it. I said it the minute they fired Saleh. LeBron Rodgers over on the sidelines is the one that fired Saleh.
And the one who fired the GM.
Yes, him too. Aaron Rodgers is the one that is running that team, just like LeBron runs the Lakers. And people give me all kinds of crap about it and everything. But it's the God's honest truth.
They're blind, Rich. They act like they're blind.
I understand. The Jets are probably the most dysfunctional team in the NFL. Maybe the most dysfunctional team in sports. And it's a shame because when you look at the talent the Jets have, Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams, Breece Hall, oh shoot. I'll think of the defensive end in a minute.
But that window is closing quick on that team.
Williams. Huh?
That window is closing quick.
It is. And that's the bad part because if you put, and I would have, I'll tell you what, I would have loved to see what Pete Carroll would have done with the Jets if he could have gotten rid of Aaron Rodgers. If you put a young quarterback
I don't understand why they went defensive-minded coach. I don't understand this.
I don't either. Of course, I don't understand what Jacksonville was doing either.
I'm just glad we got rid of Trent Baalke because he might have been the worst GM in professional sports.
Well, but now you're looking at the fact that the Saints are very possibly going to take McCarthy. Okay, fine, whatever. The Saints are an absolute 100% rebuild. They're going to have a top.
This might be good for McCarthy. This might be good for McCarthy then.
Exactly. Take 2 or 3 years, get your guys. The ownership team is definitely an ownership team that lets the coach do what they need to do. Build this team, get yourself your quarterback, get yourself your stud players, and go. Okay. But then this whole deal about Schottenheimer coming to Dallas, it's like
I heard this.
Okay.
I couldn't believe it.
I mean,
when I saw that,
Schottenheimer's never been a head coach, whether it be college or NFL. Heck, his dad. I mean, we all know his dad, Marty Schottenheimer, was a tremendous coach. I mean, with the Browns, Chiefs, and Chargers.
Yeah.
Is this going to be?
If we're talking Marty Schottenheimer, that's a whole new talk. If we're talking Marty Schottenheimer going to Dallas, that's a whole new talk.
But honestly, right now, the Dallas Cowboys are more like the Jacksonville Jaguars. Like, they're not America's team. They're not Texas' team. You want to talk about America's team right now? Throw up the Green Bay Packers. Throw up the Kansas City Chiefs. Throw up the Buffalo Bills, the Ravens, the Steelers. Cowboys aren't America's team anymore.
Every team's gone through this shit, though. Every team's gone through this. Every team has gone through it.
Not you guys.
And unfortunately, guys, a lot of us didn't have podcasts when a lot of teams were going through this.
Well,
I
that
can
is
attest.
true, but when you
I can
look
attest.
at
We got the number 1 pick 2 years in a row, and I'm still dog poop.
Because, like, I hate to say it, but
Well,
we probably would have been, a lot of people probably would have been dog and cower too. Because he
yeah,
really didn't do shit from 98 till 04. But if he didn't do shit
well,
in 03, we would have never got Ben in 04.
yeah, because there were a few number 1 picks in there that didn't exactly go gangbusters, even
No.
though they were 10, 11, 12, 13, that kind of thing. The Steelers had a stretch there where their number 1 picks were
Awful.
rough, very rough.
Oh,
Or
let me
they draft Gabe Rivera and he gets killed in an off-season wreck.
Well, actually, Gabe
Um,
Rivera wasn't killed, but paralyzed while
okay.
driving
And
drunk.
then he passed away about a year or so after that. That's right, because he became a quadriplegic and he passed away shortly after that. But yeah,
I guarantee it would have been the same rule. Imagine if we would have had podcasts from 1933 to 1969. No one would have loved the Steelers. We didn't have one winning season, I don't think.
well, they had a couple of winning seasons, but they just never did anything. And your team, your winning teams was like women's basketball 20 years ago. It was about 5 teams, and that's it. It was the Cardinals, it was the Browns, it was the Eagles, and that kind of thing. And that's
Right.
all you had. The big thing with what I see with a lot of teams right now is twofold. One, you're either in the Jets situation where you got a shitload of talent and you're missing the leadership to take you to that next level. Because you got to admit, they got a bunch of really good players on that Jets team. Or
They do, but they
you're a
can't
team
figure it
like
out.
this, or you're a team like Pittsburgh that has a couple of studs, some pretty good players, and then a bunch of guys that, let's be honest, aren't exactly ready for primetime players. But you don't have that on-field guy to take it through.
I mean, I'm gonna be dead honest. The Bills really don't have that number 1 guy either. Wide receiver. James Cook's coming around.
But he's a running back.
Right, but I mean, you want to talk about Collins, 6 year already. Amari Cooper, he's about 6, 7, 8 years into the league.
Yeah, but I could see Keon Coleman developing into a 1. I really
eventually, but I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it usually takes receivers good 3 years to get fully acclimated to the pro level.
The good thing Buffalo has in their receiving core is that they've got 3 twos.
Shakir.
I believe Shakir may be.
You got 3 twos in Shakir, Cooper, and Coleman. You got 3 twos, 3 very good twos. You don't have a 1, but you got 3 twos. And
I sometimes I feel Dalton Kincaid is the 1.
There are those times, yeah. Yeah.
And that's crazy talk, but that's the way I feel.
But that's the kind of stuff you can do when you got a quarterback like Josh Allen.
Because if they really wanted to throw more people off, they could line Kincaid out and bring Knox in and go out for a catch too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like we're seeing now with Noah Gray, who's been quiet the last 2 games, but that 87 guy has been really showing like, hey, I can still play this game in the playoffs.
Oh, don't mention his name, please, because when the Buffalo Bills win on Sunday night, guess what? The only teardrops on my guitar will be from Buffalo Bill fans after they burst through tables.
I mean, I got Buffalo winning too, but that team is the epitome of one guy. If you took Josh Allen off that team and put Russ, Dak, whoever. I don't care. Put Mahomes on that team. I don't think it's the same team. The
Not at
heart
all.
that Josh Allen has, the heart and the head that Josh Allen has on his shoulders,
Unbelievable.
it's something that nobody else in the league has. And I'll tell you what, there's a kid in the NFC that's pretty damn solid on his own right, and he's a rookie. Yeah, I see that. Quite possible.
I got a text the other day from him the other day. He goes, "Could you get me a Josh Allen jersey for my birthday?" I was like, "We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see."
Well, I know I got about 10 minutes. You want to do some picks and that kind of stuff, or what do you want?
Yeah, we
what do you
can.
think?
We can. I had a question. I had 2 questions for you. Who's
Okay.
going to be the 4? Who's going to be the 4 and 5? Is it going to be Bubba and Harrington? Are they going to be the 4 and 5 to fill out the top 5 spots?
Oh, in the rotation for the Pirates?
Yeah. We already know it's going to
Give me-
be. We just don't know the order. It's going
Give
to be
me
Keller,
Bubba
Skeens,
and
Jones.
Falter. Give me Bubba and Falter.
Okay, you're not going Harrington yet.
No, and I like Falter. I think he's solid. I really do. What else you got?
Go ahead. Let's do picks. Dylan, you ready? Since we didn't
Yeah.
get to them on Tuesday,
Yeah.
they're gonna pick the weekend specials, and then we'll wait for next week to do the Super Bowl again, or 2 weeks. We could always
Yeah.
do the AFC Pro Bowl too.
Oh God.
Flag Bowl. I'm kidding. I
So
would.
anyway,
Rich, who you got on Saturday?
there's no games on Saturday.
Good. I didn't even know
Both
that.
games are Sunday.
Championship
I got-
Sunday, Adam.
Yeah, I got Buffalo beating Kansas City in the first game, 28-24. Josh will do something spectacular to make that win happen. I think Washington gives Philadelphia everything they want, especially with Hurts being hurt. They're saying he's probably going to wear a knee brace in that game. So I'm still picking the Eagles to win. 31-29. How about that? Eagles over Washington. And, I think that
Don't do
Daniels
it.
has shown that he is really, even if he regresses a little bit next year, the kid is real deal. I mean, he is what RG3 should have been.
Dylan, who you got?
Oh gosh. Eagles should win, but Philadelphia only beat Green Bay by 12 with Jordan Love pooping his pants, and then the Eagles only beat LA by 6 with the game in a snow globe. I think Philadelphia wins, but if Philadelphia wins, they'll be on Saquon Barkley's rushing, not Jalen Hurts throwing. I've been on Kansas City to win the AFC the whole year. But the way Buffalo won last week with Josh Allen not doing much is something. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a more efficient Buffalo team. Eventually, I mean, I'll probably be wrong. I'm going. I think the Bills win a squeaker at the end, and it'd be fitting if Bass doesn't go riding white this year.
So
I think the Bills win. You know what? 34-30.
Am I the only one that's going to see? Am I the only one seeing this?
Seeing what?
Chiefs Commanders should have been Chiefs, Redskins.
Should have been.
It's great, but who are the chefs?
I'm taking the Chiefs, and I'm taking the Commanders.
Okay.
I don't know. I like it when teams get this close to a three-peat. So,
Boo! Boo!
and they also, and unlike other three-peats, this team almost got a full month off before in between games. So they've had rest. You know how you always get towards the end of like a three-peat, and everyone's like, this team's got to be tired. A lot of the same guys playing this many games, but they just had almost a month off.
Possible.
Is your wife home?
Yeah.
Is your mom okay?
Yeah, I'm guessing so.
Okay. I didn't know if she just gave you a thumbs up right there or not.
No, she was just kind of looking at me like almost done. So
Right. Dylan, how do people get you, buddy?
At Dylan S Sports One, Spunky Spectrum Sports, host the Big D podcast. I'll probably do a championship Sunday recap this Sunday night. So hopefully I'll be awake. Hopefully my voice will still be here because I think we'll have two amazing games. I mean, if the Commanders can win their fourth straight road game and win by, Washington's won with Hail Marys, 2-point conversion stops, last-second touchdowns, last-second field goals, and then beating the pants off Detroit. What next?
yeah.
All right. I'll let Rich close it out today. I'm at Sports Talking It on Twitter, X, whatever we're going with today. You can find us at Driving to the Top Productions on YouTube. Hit that like and subscribe button. If you want to be on our show on Tuesday, Open Sports Mike, you're more than welcome to ask any of us for the invite. It's open sports. Let's go. Me and Rich do a Pittsburgh show. We're going to get back in line with that, obviously. Rich's first show in like 5 weeks. We think it's about 5 weeks. We're not really sure. But Rich, welcome back, and I'm glad you're doing better. I'm glad the antibiotics kicked whatever the hell you got in you out and let you close it out, buddy.
All right, man. Well, you can get me at Go Big Go Home Pod on Twitter, X, whatever we're calling it this week. Rich Richardson on Facebook. And Monday night, 7:00 Eastern, 6 Central, will be the premiere edition of Two Tires Stop, our NASCAR show. We'll have a NASCAR preview with a very, very special guest and a very good friend of mine that knows more about NASCAR than any 20 people I know. So we're going to have a big time with that right here on Driving to the Top.
I love it.
Appreciate you guys, and appreciate the love. Josh, appreciate all the input, and we will get with y'all here down the road.
Sweet.